Musical Medicine for Wellness Practitioners, a 6-week online program bridging sound healing, music therapy, and musical neuroscience. My name is Daniel Morrow, and I wanted to overview an online program I'm offering. It's all about the science of musical medicine. We'll be exploring 6 different dimensions of sound and music healing, starting with the first session, the vibrational universe. We can also describe this as the harmonic or rhythmic universe. We're going to be talking about the divine logos and its connection to primordial sound as it relates to various spiritual and mystical traditions, and talking about a guy named Pythagoras in Greek times and the harmony of the spheres, and looking at the mathematics of not only our solar system but the very universe itself. And that relates to the musical mathematical matrix, so-called, by Len Horowitz, and he describes the solfeggio scale, which frequencies are found actually in the Bible. We'll talk about the A440 standard orchestral tuning and why that might not be the best for the human instrument. That brings us to modern day physics, quantum physics and string theory, and the vibrational nature of matter. The ancients understood a lot about the healing powers of sound and music, so we'll be looking at 3 cultures in particular: India, Greece, and China. And that bridges us to modern day music therapy in the 19th and 20th century. You see, sound and musical medicine was predicted to be the healing modality of the 21st century by people like Edgar Cayce. Then in module number 2, we're going to be getting into some of the basic sound healing principles that underlie most of what we call sound healing, as well as music therapy, and some of the principles I'll be talking about associated with the musical brain and how music impacts your brain in so many different ways. So we want to begin just examining very briefly the ear as transducer, a magnificent, complex, sophisticated instrument that's the beginning point of translating sound and music to signals that our brain can understand and we perceive consciously. So we want to understand what is frequency, what is vibration, what is energy, how do they all relate? And the healing process itself has to do with a handful of basic principles. One of them is resonance, and the other is entrainment. They're similar but not exactly the same. What are the basic sound healing instruments that are used? We look at tuning forks, crystals, the shakuhachi flute, the harp. And then there's various sound healing technologies that have been developed in the world of sound healing and musical medicine. Sound tables in particular are amazing illustrations of what you can do with sound and technology. And then we look at a few modern day approaches. We'll look at Takatina, music thanatology, the work of Don Campbell and also Fabien Mamon. So that wraps up module number 2. Module number 3. We're going to be talking about something called brainwave entrainment. You may have heard of the different brainwaves, beta, alpha, and so forth. There are many different brainwaves, and they relate and correlate to different states of consciousness. So we'll be talking about what is cycles per second and hertz, how does it relate to cognition and consciousness, and what are the basic entrainment principles that are being used today to entrain the brain using not only music but simple sounds, binaural sounds, pulsed sounds, frequency modulated music, audio entrainment applications. People like Tom Kenyon, Jeffrey Thompson have developed some pretty amazing brainwave entrainment audio applications. We also see that some classical and Baroque music can naturally entrain the brain because of the properties of the music. It naturally creates alpha brainwaves, Baroque music in particular. So that can be used for healing and accelerated learning and many other applications. So that brings us then to module number 4. I call this tuning your musical brain. So we start out the very beginning. Infants and musical predispositions. Actually, we'll be going even further back in time to prenatal properties and how the fetus is actually beginning to appreciate sound 5 months in. So we're born with musical predispositions, innate abilities to understand rhythm, harmony, and melody, consonance, dissonance. And so we can see the human body is actually likened to a musical instrument with its various bodily rhythms, brainwave frequencies. vibrational signatures in the molecules associated with the various organs. I want to talk about the relationship between music and emotions and physiology and how they highly correlate. A music brain mapping. So we're going to look at the widely distributed features and properties of music in the brain, how it is processed in very complex ways in the brain, and how it's taken up by many distinct, unique processing centers because it literally lights up almost all of the brain. We want to talk about something called the Mozart effect, what's right about it, what's been distorted about that musical phenomenon relating music and spatial temporal reasoning, and look deeper at some of the neurological imaging studies beyond behavioral studies of the Mozart effect, where we find some very interesting evidence about the healing and balancing power of music is looking at neurological disorders and how various sound and music-based therapies have been used to reduce symptoms of disorders as wide spectrum as Alzheimer's, epilepsy, Broca's aphasia, Parkinson's, and even autism. And then finally we look at some practical hands-on tools, at least 7 different roles or functions of music to tune your brain, mind, and body. So that brings us to module number 5. So we're still talking about music, but now we're bridging music, mind, and matter, and starting out with the mineral kingdom, looking at the science of somatics, or how frequencies can create geometries and matter. Then we move on to cellular structures, how simple sounds, sound sequences, and scales affect cells, and how cancer cells can actually be destroyed with particular sounds that leave healthy hemoglobin cells intact. We see this with DNA as well. So there are these mathematical musical vibrations programmed into our very DNA. So we're going to be looking also at the plant kingdom and how music has been used to favorably impact plants. And then we look at, of course, animals. Rodents versus dolphins and whales and cetaceans and birds, and how various animal species and animal kingdom demonstrate sensitivities to the realms of music and sound, and also how they produce various sound structures that relate to modern Western musical scales and properties. So that bridges music, mind, and matter, so we can actually impact inert matter with sound, going all the way from the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, to the human kingdom. And that brings us to our last module of this online program, and that is your vocal instrument. So we looked at the various devices and tools and instruments that can be used as sound healing devices. That was all the way back in module 2. But the most powerful instrument that we know of on this planet would be your voice. But it has to be honed, it has to be developed. You have to understand what are the ingredients of the voice, and how can your voice be used as a healing instrument? How does the voice relate to consciousness and the voice as a carrier of consciousness? So we'll look at vocal toning, we'll look at vocal harmonics and the various tiny frequencies in the voice that can be expanded and accentuated. So that will wrap up the 6th and final module of this program. And then you have a good starting point, a good basis, whether you're using this personally in your own life, or you are a health and wellness practitioner, a healer, a yoga instructor, a meditation teacher, a sound healer, musician. We want to bring some of the basic elements, principles, and properties of both sound healing, musical healing, and music and brain to bear on your own personal practice and your healing practice as well. Hope you enjoyed this little overview. Thanks very much. Sound blessings to you. So there you have it, an overview of this program called Musical Medicine Online for Holistic Wellness Practitioners. This is a 6-week online program bridging the science of musical medicine, sound healing, and music neuroscience. It's going to be taught by myself, Daniel Morrow. I've been in the field of sound healing and musical medicine and the neuroscience of music for about 12 years now. I'm a multi-instrumentalist. I play at least 4 different instruments. And I've also been running kirtans. I call them musical meditations, which are modern day versions of kirtans and devotional chanting. I've offered peace concerts in the past. but I've spent quite a bit of time developing these programs around sound healing and musical medicine. One that focused on the science of musical medicine I called Exploring Your Musical Brain. That was a 5-day, 20-hour intensive, and that's just on music in the brain, which we're covering a much wider spectrum of topics around sound healing in this program. So again, I'm just going to overview the 6 modules quickly. We're starting with Module 1, the vibrational universe. Module 2 is on the basic sound healing principles. Module 3, brainwave entrainment. Module 4 is on tuning your musical brain. Module 5, music, mind, and matter. And finally, Module 6 on your vocal instrument. So just want to let you know about the schedule for this program, which starts on January 7th, 2016. It will be delivered on Thursday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we do begin with that first module, the vibrational universe, on January 7th. We continue with Module 2 on January 14th, and continuing weekly up until February 11th, where we conclude with your vocal instrument. So I'd like to talk about the content and the pricing. This is Musical Medicine Online for holistic wellness practitioners. It is designed for people who are in the healing arts or who do some kind of therapy or healing modality, although it could be used for anybody. You can use this in your own life, or you can use it as an adjunct or as a tool in whatever healing or therapeutic modality you're currently using. That's the way it's been designed. It's a very rich, dynamic course, condenses a lot of great material in sound healing, musical medicine, and neuroscience. I'm kind of bringing in the best material from all these different areas. Now, the content is similar to webinars I've given in the past. If you've been on those, if not, I can direct you to a couple of YouTube videos. So we're going to be using a lot of beautiful visuals and graphics, dynamic text, and sound and music samples when they're appropriate. It's going to be very interactive. So like I do on live webinars, we're going to be doing polls so we can question everybody and get a sense where everyone's at on particular topics. There will be live chatting so that you can make comments or ask questions in real time. And of course, at the end, we'll have a formal Q&A about the content. Now, in terms of review, if you happen to miss one of the live sessions, no problem. There will be replays of each session for up to 7 days following the live session. The nice thing about these replica replays is they're exact duplicates of the live webinar session, not just the content I'm covering and what I'm saying and showing on the slides, but actually you'll see all the comments of your fellow participants happening in real time on the replay. So if you miss a session for whatever reason, you can catch the replay for up to 7 days, or if you just want to review the material, you can see the replay as well. Now, this program is valued at least $300. I'm offering for $244, but I've got a little bit of an early bird special, a discount, almost $100 off if you get in by or before December 27th. So that will be a hard deadline of midnight, December 27th, to get the program for $147. Otherwise, it's going to be $244. This special can be found at speakingvisionaries.com. If you're looking at this promotional video somewhere on YouTube, you do have to go to speakingvisionaries.com in order to find that shopping cart, that PayPal button, and get in on the course. If you happen to be on this page where the promo video is embedded, then you should be able to see that orange PayPal button to your right. We've got some free content. If you are on this Speaking Visionaries page where the promotional video is embedded, you'll see a couple of free YouTube videos. The first one is a version of a webinar I did in October called Musical Medicine, Activating the 7 Dimensions of Musical Sound to Harmonize Your Mind, Brain, and Body. So this particular webinar condenses a lot of material around what I call musical medicine. So it's a lot about the science of music and sound healing principles and how music is processed in your brain. So that's about 90 minutes. You can catch it for free And if you're on this page right now, speakingvisionaries.com, the tab is Musical Medicine Online, and you should see a couple of YouTube links at your lower right. The first link is this one, Musical Medicine. You can watch that at your leisure. The second free content is another YouTube video. This is a webinar I gave recently in December. It's called The Yoga of Sound, Unleashing the Healing Properties of Your Voice Using Sanskrit Mantra. And this is more kind of the esoteric or spiritual properties of sound and music, specifically looking at healing powers of your voice. So that is available as a free YouTube video. Again, it's at speakingvisionaries.com. The tab is Musical Medicine Online, but you should be able to just grab that at the homepage of Speaking Visionaries, and it's at your lower right. So hope you enjoy those two free videos, and you've gotten a better sense of what's going on with this program. Again, it is geared to practitioners, healing practitioners, people in the healing arts or therapeutic arts who want to use sound and music as an adjunct or a tool to kind of support what they're already doing. For me, what I'm doing here is giving a very rich, condensed program highlighting what I consider to be the most important areas of sound healing, the vibrational universe, the physics of all this stuff, how it relates to mathematics, brainwave entrainment, exploring your musical brain, the science of music and the brain. So it's a great introduction. Hope to have you part of the program if that interests you and that's of use to you at this point in this time in your life. If you have any questions, you can do so at GADM as in Mary, AURO @gmail.com. Thanks for watching this video. Have yourself a great day and sound blessings to you.